Kate will not be here tonight, she has jury duty.
She got called on jury
Oh, yeah, oh, yeah, and in fact, they were hoping it was gonna be done today, but
Civil or criminal?
I don't know.
I had civil last week. I got a call.
You were called?
We were told that they settled.
I don't know how you get called for federal.
You got called for
I
federal?
didn't get called for federal.
Every 2 years.
That's where she is, she's in Philadelphia.
Oh, she's in Philadelphia?
Oh, she's
Yeah.
still federal.
That's even worse.
Every 2 years I
Yeah,
get called.
she got
I don't
overtime.
understand how I get lucky.
And she
Well-
didn't, they didn't move her up to Allentown, it's still in Philadelphia?
Still there?
Because sometimes they moved it to the courthouse.
No.
Wow. That would be.
Take the train in, then walk 7 blocks. And
It was kind of cool. We didn't-
If I didn't take a train to
we didn't
Philadelphia,
get
it probably
called.
would've
Judge came
been
out and
Atlanta.
told us what the case was about.
No, me. I should
She
say.
says it's amazing when we got 40 jurors sitting there waiting, and the client knows and decides to settle. And don't want to go through all that.
Yeah, I've only got county once. Keep things right.
I got jury duty, God, 10 years ago.
Steve is
Checked in
going
a
to
minute
try to
ago,
get me
they
the
got
address
bothered
of
again.
Mr. Puppets.
I've gotten
Joe
called many
Puppets
times and I've
tomorrow.
never had to go. You know, you call in like after
Yeah.
5 o'clock or whatever it
So
is.
hopefully
never
I
had to
get a
go
chance
once.
to talk to him.
Well, I got jury duty a month ago, but we had a planned trip. We went to see Marie McIntyre up in Connecticut. They excused me from that. 3 weeks later, bam, got another
Yeah,
one,
this-
and must appear.
Yeah.
So
You don't get
I
the
went.
book, you just got deferred.
I went. It was interesting. Wasn't it?
Did you watch the video?
I got like, yeah.
You watched the video?
I got lucky though. 2 hours of it was sitting there and settled. I was out of there.
Nice.
I took the rest of the day off.
Well, they pay you like $35, didn't they?
$9 is
$9,
coming.
$9, yeah.
$9.
That's an insult. That doesn't
It
cover
costs me more in
parking.
fuel to go down and back.
Say,
Yeah.
hit the price of gas now.
And you have your little jury card with your barcode on, your name and all that, and a little holder with a pin. You have to give that back.
Oh, yeah.
I said, wait a minute, you don't collect enough taxes? Give this to me as a souvenir? Well, you can keep your slip, we need the plastic.
All right. Want to get started?
Sure.
All right. Everybody, welcome to the Upper Frederick Township Board of Supervisors Monthly Workshop / Pre-Agenda Meeting, May 5th, 2022. Let's please stand and pledge the flag. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. Make an announcement that we have an executive session to discuss litigation matters
Before the meeting.
before the meeting tonight. Thank you. Public comment period. Okay, no public comment. Minutes, April 7th, 2022, Board of Supervisor Workshop meeting. Any comments on the minutes? Okay. Make a motion to approve the minutes. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay, business before the board. We have Tim Hendrick's proposal for zoning update to permit density bonus for age-restricted development.
Yes. Good evening, I'm Tim Hendricks. You will probably recall I was here 1 or 2 times back a few months ago to let you know that we were getting involved with the ground down the street. We are working with what was different names, but everything on the west side of 73. Most recently there was Roseville. I wasn't involved in Roseville, but whatever it is, we'll come up with a name. But that 114 acres. Additionally then, we're now including what was Scioto Village. You'll recall on that, there was extensions happening and that was terminated back a few months ago. So we're here for both properties. And what I had asked in my last time here was, are you interested in exploring a 55 and over community with some amount of additional density to make up for the fact that 55 and over sells for less money off of the land than market rate housing. Obviously, the benefits, you don't have the traffic. Some people go to work, but some don't, so you're not adding to your rush hour traffic, your peak hours as much. There's others, you know, you're getting the taxes, whether it matters or not, you're not putting people in the school district, obviously that's not the township. And, you know, we can get down through the list of pros and cons. But it was, should we look at that, and no percentage was set on that, obviously, and I didn't present a percentage for you to consider. So I'm not here with specific numbers, just a concept. If I were to throw out a number, I'm not asking, but say it was 15%, just so you know, we're not looking for a double the density or something like that. It'd be some fraction of, so if we're allowed 100 homes, then maybe you get 115, but they're all 55 and over. They're smaller homes, you're not having the kids in there, but your tax base works out about the same. So that was the one question, which is what was read on the agenda. The other question would be then too, we're looking at water and sewer. And again, this comes from initial discussions that I believe that you had, whether in front of me or on your own. You're looking at obviously the township. And so for us, we're doing water and sewer for ourselves, but at the same time, looking at what else might be needed, whether it be for some number for the township, for failing systems, whatever they are, and or some of the package treatment plants you have, if at some point you're looking at a bigger picture on that. My question is, are you open to some number of additional units to compensate for that cost if we pay for everything? By way of example, the water, we would put at the, you know, there's a location that makes sense for water for us, but obviously you'd have to approve it, so I'm not suggesting otherwise. But where we would most likely put the water, if we're looking at bigger picture servicing of the area, would not be the same place as a sewer plant. So then you end up with two of the little buildings with your controls and everything in there. They're like $200-some thousand a piece. You're looking at two generators instead of one, they're like $100,000 a piece. So you get additional costs, but it would take care of some of the future needs if you were determined they were appropriate in the future. They're both just big picture questions for now. We started the process with a number of the township staff and professionals, where we're working through what is the density that's permitted today. And we're not there yet, but we're working on that. And then this question becomes, do we just pursue what's allowed there today, or look at this option of some percentage increase and it's 55 and over? And then secondly, do we look at future sewer and water? That obviously all comes from the township side. We have nothing to do with that. But if that's additional cost, would you consider some number of houses? And again, we're not talking 50 or 100 houses, but some number of houses that would go into the site that then in exchange, that makes it more valuable to us, and we cover that cost for what you might need in the future. So there's really two questions, and it's just, should we look at this, or no, stick with exactly what's there, and that's that. And is that a fair kind of summary? I mean, we had a staff meeting, and we need some direction before we continue going further, so.
Yeah, so, and we met with him last week, and, you know, we just didn't feel like it was appropriate for us to be giving this guidance. It seemed more appropriate to be coming from the three of you. You know, whether or not you're wanting to negotiate with the density in exchange for those things.
Comments?
I'm not looking to change densities. Go with what we got now, and see if we go from there.
Yeah, I don't think we have enough information to make any other decision on that. I think we're going with.
I'd like a traffic study regardless.
Well, I think that would be generated by your ordinance anyway.
We'll have to do a traffic study. I guess the question is, and I understand your point, if it's, you know, stay with the density that is, then obviously we wouldn't look to explore 55 and over. So it'd just be whatever's permitted there today, townhomes, apartments, that kind of thing that's permitted today.
I think that's,
Sounds
yeah,
about right.
that sounds about the guidance, yeah.
Okay. All right, thank you very much.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay. Item 2, review draft agenda for May 12th, 2022.
I'm trying to bring up again this, sign replacement out front. I know this was it should be under, behind workshop and then tab number 2. I have one nod. No
Tab 2, here we go.
pressure.
All
Oh,
right.
2 nods.
There it is.
Okay, phew. Okay, so I think maybe last spring, you guys were starting the conversation about trying to get a replacement sign out front for the township property. So I'm trying to get that going. I've got 2 companies that are getting me information. They're both co-stars companies, so, you know, we don't have to go out to bid. And one of them, next Thursday night, is going to bring a demo for us. So, because he was explaining that, you know, the type of lighting really has an effect. So he will probably be here like around 7:30, and I told him we'd probably get through your reports, and then maybe we could go out and take a look at his demo. Okay.
Good idea.
So, so we'll have that on your agenda. We have a pension update, so a couple months ago, you guys approved some changes to our employee personnel book. So this is kind of the official paperwork to change the pension vesting requirements, so we'll have that on there. We want to kind of clean up the budget in terms of the distribution of the emergency services tax. Now that we're only using 1 ambulance, and you guys had indicated you wanted more of the proportion to go to the fire company. So we're hoping to have a resolution to get that cleaned up next week. And then also we'll be designating the funds for the purchase of 3211. So the closing of that will actually be the following morning. So next Thursday night, you'll approve the funds, we'll get the certified check Friday morning, and then I'll go to closing, and hopefully everything goes smoothly. Right, Dave? Okay. We will also be placing on your agenda, we have a new zoning
Go
hearing.
back to that.
Yeah, sure.
You're going to transfer funds by resolution on Thursday night for that?
I believe so. We're going to designate funds.
Question is, did you want to designate additional funds to handle?
That's right.
Items that you need to do in the facility to correct problems that are there?
That's a good point. Do you guys want to designate some additional funds for any immediate improvements that's determined that we need to do? We could do a certain amount next Thursday, just as part of this process, or we can wait until we get in there and then we can kind of get a more in-depth assessment.
Do we have any idea what needs to be done?
So-
A lot of things need to be done.
Yeah, that's
But, you know,
I mean,
Right.
I mean, my idea would be, you know, after settlement, that we would take over the building and actually shut it down,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
Well, there's
Get
some,
the-
so,
yeah, shut the systems down, you know.
right, but there's also, there's like a beam in the attic that is, I think, cracked. There's, the chimneys, I think, have some leaking.
I don't
So-
know.
if that's
What's that?
baseboard water heat, then everything's
Is there
gonna
a
be
boiler in
right.
there?
That's what I mean.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
everything's
think it
gonna
might be oil.
Even if we designated these funds, don't we have to go through like an approval process and identify what all the items are and?
So we have a list from, I think you guys had done kind of a list of potential things that need to be done.
Okay.
I think it came out to $200,000, but it was just a rough, it was a rough
And
estimate.
it was a list
What are you
without
tearing
ever
it down,
stepping
starting
inside the
over?
building. It
Yeah.
was things that would make sense based on the age of the building.
Right.
Right, but then we had the appraisal done, and they did go inside, and there's a couple maybe structural things inside that we may want to secure. So, and LTL did assign some values roughly to some of these things. So we do kind of have rough picture, but we do need to kind of hone in and have a more specific look at it.
But it doesn't need to be done tomorrow.
No, but
You can defer that.
Yes,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm all for deferring it, you know, I mean,
That's
my
fine.
biggest thing is, once you make settlement, to shut the building down.
sure,
And one thing to add to that is, it might be a good idea just to have someone look at it and make sure there's nothing either leaking or that could potentially, over a period of time,
Exactly.
cause more damage.
Right,
Yeah.
yeah, that's why, you know, shut the
The
water
other-
system
well,
down.
Put
the
a
other-
Band-Aid on it to just hold it in place and then decide what you want to do.
yeah, the other option though is, the guys need a shower. Just, they've been wanting to install a shower downstairs, so that like if they're outside working and they get, you know, messed up, they can go somewhere and take a shower. So before we completely commit to shutting it down, we may wanna assess it and see if we should keep that available for them.
How's that building gonna react if there's no heat in it during the
No, I
winter?
think you want to keep the heat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I'm just
Okay,
saying.
All right, you're just
temporary.
shutting it down, okay, because I was gonna say,
Yeah, don't shut it.
yeah, you
No,
gotta keep
you gotta
it
set it at
dry,
25
you
and-
have to keep
Yeah.
it dry in there.
Okay,
So
Or you're gonna start getting mold and everything else.
yes.
I guess the question is, okay, so how much are we talking about? What are we looking for here, dollar-wise?
You know, we hadn't gotten that far, to be honest with you. So it may be the sort of thing that maybe we get through next Friday, get inside and
Yeah.
take a look at the list, take a look at the
Prioritize
appraisal, and then we
Absolutely
can
needs to be-
prioritize, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
let's
mean-
I would like to get
yeah,
a walkthrough. of the-
Yeah,
yeah, I would
absolutely.
too.
And the good thing is you're months away from worrying about anything freezing.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So
We're past that
That's
stage
Yeah.
at this point.
Yeah, okay, you don't turn the air conditioning on, okay, it's 85 degrees inside the house, you know, big deal, that's not gonna really do any damage. I meant like as far as roof leaks or
Sure.
anything
I know
like
what you mean.
that.
Right, right.
Tracy brought up something that was a good point. I think it'd be a good idea from a structural standpoint, just have somebody walk through, make sure it's safe from that standpoint. I would suspect that it very likely is. It might need something shored up, but
Mhm.
nothing
Right.
that would be an
Has
immediate.
has he moved out yet?
Basically, yes.
I-
He came in today and he said that he's essentially out. He's got a couple things there and they still have a few things in the sheds out back, but they will plan on getting the final stuff that they intend to get out by Thursday.
Okay.
So,
Well, I think one of the priorities that should be done before winter is to get generators back that house up in case of loss of power in the winter time, especially so the pipes don't freeze,
And keep the sump pump going.
and keep sub pump going, exactly. We're gonna need to generate that. I mean, we already have, I don't know if it's possible we can use
well, I was just gonna say, we
the
can.
power from
yeah,
here and run a line,
Well,
or do we want just a separate unit?
yeah, right.
Because,
We'll take a look.
yeah, we'll have to figure out the
Sure.
wattage on that, if it would cover both buildings, probably not.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
especially with the, we were
Oh,
talking about
okay,
the
that
upgrades
makes
here,
sense.
physically
Well, we
here.
didn't
Yeah.
have to upgrade that anyway, so.
But,
Yeah.
yeah, that should be priority before winter time, keep the power on when we do lose. I mean, we can lose power 3-4 days in the winter time. I don't freeze it.
We've lucked out, we haven't done
We
that.
were lucky.
We've lucked out, all of them have been
Yeah.
spring, summer.
But there's gonna be that one time and it'll just create a lot more damage.
Well,
Okay, so at this point, we'll move forward with the funds for the closing.
Yeah.
And then we'll do a walkthrough and we'll kind of get a better sense of
Yeah.
the state of things. Okay, sounds good.
Okay.
So I'll be placing, we have recently received a zoning hearing board application for the property up at the corner of Perkamenville and Big Road. So I'll be placing that on your agenda and you can decide whether or not you want to send your solicitor to the hearing
Okay.
to represent you. And he's gonna be contacting the applicant's attorney to see if there's some issues with the uses and we'll get clarity on that.
Okay.
And then we'll also have the conditional use decision in order on your agenda for next year with a set of conditions that we think you are good with.
Okay, all right.
I think those are the main things that we'll have on your agenda for next week unless anyone has anything to add.
Okay, updates. manager report, electrical issues in building.
So we were concerned that, at the last meeting, our compressor had gone out on the air conditioner for the office. So you had authorized us to get that fixed. We got it fixed and everything was good for about 2 days and then it stopped working again. So the guy who installed the compressor was concerned that maybe there were some electrical issues with our panels and stuff. It doesn't seem like it's a really big problem that we have. There just might be, we might need a surge protector, and they may kind of reorder some of our wiring because of the phasing or something like that. I'm not.
You're unbalanced.
We're unbalanced.
You're
There you
unbalanced.
go. So, thank you.
No comments,
So we had,
no comment.
yeah, thanks, Dave.
Electrically unbalanced.
We used to work with Pico. He understands.
So anyway, so
electricity.
we had an electrician out yesterday. He doesn't think it's as terrible as we originally thought it might be, and so he'll be back in the next couple weeks to kind of help balance things out.
You're pulling more from one phase than the other.
So that's that. We're just continuing, kind of working through our list of items that we've been talking about in the past. I've been researching pen bid and the use of pen bid. And I guess a little hesitation on some of these things, putting them on pen bid, just because it's very kind of technologically sophisticated. Like it caters to, I think, more of the more sophisticated companies, and maybe the simpler providers might be a little overwhelmed. Plus, I learned, and you guys probably know this, but the way pen bid makes money is when we award a contract to someone through them, they charge the winning contractor a percentage of that contract as a fee. So anyway, we were talking about the sledge hauler and, potentially putting that on pen bid. So I just got some information from Rick Sachs to kind of put together a bid package, and so we're still working on that. And we had talked about putting it on pen bid, but I guess once we put it on pen bid, everything has to go through pen bid. So we can't
Can't advertise
You can't-
outside of the pen bid.
you can advertise outside of it, but the submittal still has to
Has
go
to go through
through
pen bid.
pen bid. And my concern is our current hauler is probably not gonna be sophisticated enough for that. So, something to think about, as, we're still putting together the documents, but, that might, I'm not sure that that'll work to our favor necessarily.
Okay.
But we can revisit that in the future.
Tracy, you get the sense that through pen bid, if the contractor gets the award is paying extra number of dollars to pen bid, are they raising their pricing to cover that?
I guarantee they are.
So they probably
I
are.
would think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, you would think so, but I feel like, some of the folks who might bid on our stuff, they're just kind of small.